You sitting around some amazing black women that got mental toughness, that will not allow society to hypersexualize them or minimize them because of their breast and their hips and want to undermine their brain. I need y'all to understand, America's greatest nightmare and fear is Kamala Harris becoming president, because they know if a black woman is in charge, we will turn this nation upside down. Brothers, y'all ain't gotta say nothing, but if I got some strong black women in here, I need you to open up your mouth, because you are a miracle.
You can tell that we're getting down the home stretch of the election season, because you're starting to see more and more church plant pastors. And as a reminder, church plant pastors are those traditional black pastors who are sabotaging the black community. They are the paraministry of the Democratic Party in the black community to push the Democratic agenda, to push the identity politics in the black community, to keep the black community in their place. They're the ones who are dispatched whenever you hear black people considering voting for Donald Trump. They're the ones who are dispatched to disparage, especially black men, for even considering voting for Donald Trump. And you have to understand something. See, this game that the Democrats are playing with identity politics is starting to backfire on them, because some people are wanting to push out Joe Biden and they don't want Kamala Harris.
All right, y'all, I gotta be real quick with this because I'm headed to go do my show. The Biden takedown is almost complete. Listen to me carefully. The Biden takedown is almost complete. If you saw today's Washington Post, where people close to Obama came up with their thoughts, Reverend Al Sharpton has a story in the New York Times. This thing is happening. I need y'all to understand something. You need to understand something real quick. All of these people, all of these Democrats, the ones who never want to name a candidate, they do not support Kamala Harris. Let me say this again. All of these Democrats, you never hear them name who the replacement is. They do not want Vice President Kamala Harris. Nancy Pelosi is not supporting Kamala Harris. Y'all cut the crap. Michelle Obama ain't running. She hates politics. The only way this thing moves forward is if Kamala Harris is at the top of that ticket. You can't use the money they raise without Kamala. You can't use the 1,000 workers they have without Kamala. You can't use the 100 field offices without Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris has been the vice president for Joe Biden. All of the policy wins, she's been right there. She can tell the story. With these rich white donors, I'm telling y'all, they want anybody but Kamala. They want Gavin Newsom. They want Gretchen Whitmer. That's what they want. But I'm telling y'all, point blank, I know what I'm hearing from the streets. Y'all, I'm not in Wilmington, Delaware. I'm based in D.C., but I ain't never in D.C. No, I'm not fear-mongering. I'm telling y'all the real deal. You need to look at the data, okay? You cannot build a national campaign on the fly in a matter of weeks. Listen to me clearly. The Democratic National Convention is August 19th through the 23rd. So you gonna wait a whole month before you know who your candidate is? So now, today is July, what's today? Today is July 18th. So July 18th through August 19th is off the map. Be prepared. Let these folks know Kamala Harris had better be at the top of the ticket, or they are absolutely going to lose. Y'all, I gotta go. I was gonna let y'all know that. I'm not telling y'all what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. This is go time. This is time for us to let this party know who the base is.
And so, speaking of Kamala Harris, the current vice president, the one who, for some reason, When she was running for president on her own, she could not even come in the top 5, essentially. But now that she's a vice president, all black people are supposed to get on board with Kamala Harris. I mean, is it because that she's black? Is it because she's Indian? Oh, yeah, that's true. Is it because she's Jamaican? Yeah, that's true. No, it's because the liberal media and the Marxists and the communists and the church plant pastors want black people to fall in line. But let's give you a reminder of who Kamala Harris is.
And their agenda, one of the things is to get rid of the church. To get rid of the church, to have abortion on demand, to the promotion of all things LGBTQ. You know, Kamala Harris, she's running for the vice presidency. I call her Miss Lock Up a Brother, for when she was the AG in California, a Negro knew, a black man knew that he was dead in the water. He was dead in the water. Matter of fact, you don't need a trial. You might well go into jail if you appear before her, because she took pride in locking up black folk. And now all of a sudden she's trying to be sister girl. I'm telling it. Check out her record. She locked us up left and right. Yes, she did. Yes, she did. Yes, she
did. And she took pride in that. You know, Kamala Harris, when she went to Howard, didn't identify as a black woman. She identified as Indian. Just think about that.
He did. Yes, you did, Kamala, however I should pronounce it, you did. And now we're supposed to forget all that stuff. And she boasted in California that she was one of the first. I got the tape cued, but my time's up to date. One of the first I showed you Thursday night to perform a same-sex marriage. Y'all want to see it? You want to see it? Let it rip.
Let the rings exchanged and the vows declared symbolize your commitment, sincerity, and affection.
Yeah.
And may your love never falter.
May your love never falter.
By virtue of the power and authority vested in me by the state of California, I now declare you spouses for life.
Cut. Now that is who's supposed to deliver us. Now, are you crazy? I like what Maya Angelou says. She said, when the people show you who they are, believe them. That's Kamala. And let me tell you, anybody who's trying to turn America into Sodom and Gomorrah is not good for this nation. She's not good for the state, and she ain't good for black folk.
So that's Kamala Harris. That's her history. She is all about pushing the LGBTQ agenda. She is all about disrupting biblical marriage. She's all about disrupting the patriarchy. She was all on board with BLM and the riots back in 2020. That's Kamala Harris, who's all about abortion on demand. That's Kamala Harris. Is she good for black people? Is she good for the black community? Is she good for the church, especially the black church? No, but because she's a black woman of color, she was forced upon Joe Biden. It was all part of their plot, I believe, to eventually get her into the White House, because they knew she couldn't win it on her own. So they knew Joe Biden was frail. So they thought Joe Biden would probably not make it through his first term, but Joe did. So now they have a problem. They know Joe Biden is frail. They know Joe Biden is in decline. But they know that Kamala Harris can't win the right way, the correct way, through the ballot box. So now they're trying to connive and get her in there. But they don't understand that if they don't put Kamala Harris on the top of that ticket, it's going to be a civil war within the Democratic Party. Because you have these church plant pastors like Jamal Bryant, who's all on board with Kamala Harris.
Y'all not ready to shout. Let me help you here. Dr. Haynes, you're not going to believe it. Since 1973, over 19 million black babies. Since 1973, 19 million black babies have been aborted.
Jamal, it's actually 20 million, and it's because of pastors like you, church plant pastors who do not preach against it. You actually support and endorse a woman's right to choose. Jamal Bryant, that's so contradictory and hypocritical of you. You support the very people that want to abort black babies, that want to diminish the black population. I don't know how these church plant pastors don't see that. They are the ones who are aiding and abetting the genocide of the black community. But yet he stands up in his pulpit and talks about these women are miracles for surviving.
19 million black babies have been aborted, but your mama decided to keep you. Look at you not allowing what happened to define you. Look at how it is that you still walk in your queendom and have not allowed anybody to break your self-esteem. You sitting around some amazing black women that got mental toughness, that will not allow society to hypersexualize them or minimize them because of their breast and their hips and want to undermine their brain. I need y'all to understand America's greatest nightmare and fear is Kamala Harris becoming president, because they know if a black woman is in charge, we will turn this nation upside down.
They are afraid, Jamal Bryant, because they've seen what has happened in the black community when the government kicked out the black man, kicked out the fathers, disrupted the biblical order, disrupted the biblical family, and put the woman in charge. They've seen what has happened over the last 60 years, Jamal Bryant, and you've seen it too. But see, you are the ones who preach this other gospel, this social gospel. And the social gospel is built upon women leading. See, when you go to churches like this, most women are in charge, or there's a spirit of femininity within the church. So therefore, you have to build up the women. You manipulate the women to get them all charged up, get them all excited so they can continue to give and contribute and serve in the church. I know exactly how it works. And so therefore, you're preaching to the choir because you want them to get gassed up to go out and vote for Kamala Harris. That's what you're doing.
Brothers, y'all ain't gotta say nothing, but if I got some strong black women in here, I need you to open up your mouth, because you are a miracle. Now we're in Washington, D.C. at a think tank, and we're trying to strategize and come up with how it is that we're going to get our community to the polls in November. And your pastor spoke passionately about the perplexities and the problems that are facing our people. And I said to this august body of advanced critical thinkers that part of the fault is the black church. Hallelujah. About 2 years ago, Freddie, I spoke for the Nation of Islam, and I told the Nation of Islam, y'all ain't gonna believe it, I told the Nation of Islam that the success of the Nation of Islam is built on the failure of the black church. Y'all don't like me in Texas. I said the success of the Nation of Islam is built on the failure of the black church. Many people forget that Malcolm X was the son of Pastor Little. He is the son of a Baptist pastor. Y'all ain't gonna like this. He went to jail and none of the deacons went to go visit him. He went to jail and nobody who was in the intercessory prayer ministry went to go see him. But the Nation of Islam saw his talent and saw his gift and began to develop what the church couldn't see. I can't hear nobody. Do you understand what would happen if the black church goes after our black men? That our black men have a role and a responsibility that they can play. Think about all of the boys that were on the youth choir with you that you can't find today. I can't hear nobody. There's a role in our churches for our men, and all of our men ain't got to be in security. They can be in a place of leadership that will help us transform our communities. I believe a revival is getting ready to take place where black men are getting ready to come back to the church. And it won't just be for Men's Day. Y'all ain't saying nothing. But when we get black men back in church, we will turn Dallas upside down. I need you to clap like you believe that before Labor Day, all of the black men in your family are coming back to church. I need you to give God glory that the summer will not end without your husband back in church, without Get your son back in church.
And you see, that's how church plant pastors manipulate the gullible women in their church. Yes, those women want their husbands to come with them. Yes, they want their sons to come with them to church. You want to know why the Nation of Islam and the black Hebrew Israelites have black men swelling in their ranks? Because these organizations emphasize masculinity. Most traditional black churches don't. Real men will not sit in a place that does not speak to their masculinity, does not speak to the biblical masculinity that's on the inside of them. So therefore, they will not come to your church. I know plenty of churches that have black men coming there because those pastors speak to the masculinity in those churches. If your church is female dominated, chances are you're going to have less and less men. That's a reality. And they want the same thing that's happening in the black church to happen in America. They want the matriarchy. They want Kamala Harris to be in charge. Because people like Jamal Bryant and other church plant pastors profit off of taking advantage of women. Profit off of manipulating gullible women. They're making them victims. And these liberal puppet masters and these church plant pastors want everybody in America to feel that same victimhood mentality. Well, I reject that because we're not victims. We are empowered for greatness.